Okay, so today we're going to do a project on memory and identity. So I have markers, 2 pieces of white paper, I've got a pencil and my black marker. You're going to use a pencil for purposes for time, and I'm going to use my marker so you guys can see it. So I'm going to create a frame first on my piece of paper, on one of the pieces of paper. So it can be any kind of frame, and I'm just going to kind of make like almost like a design. So I'm just going to do squiggles. So I've got my squiggles, and I'm actually going to leave it as is. And then on the outside, I'm going to do 2 things on this piece of paper. On the outside, I'm going to create a pattern. I'm going to use my markers to create a pattern. And then on the inside, I'm going to take a ballpoint pen, and I'm going to write words either about me, or you can make it a memory project, and you can make it about the year being 2020, and you can write down memories from this year. So I'm going to do words that have to do with me. So I'm just going to fill the whole thing with words about me. So I've gone ahead and I've used my ballpoint pen to fill it in. I did some words, I did some sentences, kind of described things about me. So now I'm going to create a pattern on this outside area. So I'm just going to use a couple markers and create like a repeating pattern. So I've got some blues and purples, and I'm just going to use the outside. And I'm just going to kind of create maybe some lines that go all the ways around. And this is going to be like my frame. For my picture that I'm creating. Now I do have a piece of paper underneath, and this is to make sure that I don't get any markers on my table while I'm working. So I went ahead, I started my pattern on the outside. I encourage you to go in and fill in all the white space, so the only white on this paper is inside behind your words. So I will do that later, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take that second piece of paper, I'm gonna flip it over and use the back side, and I'm actually gonna take my hand and I'm gonna trace it. So I'm gonna take a ballpoint pen, I'm just gonna trace my hand carefully. I've spread out all my fingers, so I can squeeze my pen between my fingers. Okay, so there's my hand. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create a pattern inside of my hand, something that uses colors like my favorite colors, something that's really gonna show me and who I am. So I'm gonna leave it, I'm not gonna cut it out yet because I don't wanna make any mistakes. And if I can just cut it out later and it'll be easier to color this way. So I might go in and I might just add, I can go outside the lines right now for coloring purposes, because again, I'm going to cut out my hand later. So I'm just coloring some lines on my fingers to start my patterns. I'm just going side to side with the marker. I encourage you to make any kind of lines, patterns, and designs. You can use markers, you can use color pencils, you can use crayons, whatever you want. But again, when you're coloring with your markers, I encourage you to outline the shape first and then go back inside the side and fill in that space. So that is a nice, clean coloring job. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've cut out my hand. So as you guys just saw, I was cutting right on that line from where I traced my hand. So now my hand is cut out. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna flip over that picture that I had made earlier with my words. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna add my hand. Now this is a really cool project. You could add both your hands. That would be really awesome as well. So I have, obviously as an adult, I have a little bit larger of hands. So for the students and all of you guys that are listening, you can do 2 hands. I encourage you to do that because it looks really fun. And you can put your hand wherever you want. So I think I'm gonna put my hand on the corner because I'm only doing 1 so I can still see some words. So I'm actually going to make it go off the page, or actually I might have it go right there. But I do still need to go around and finish the corners. As you guys can see, it is not 100% done. So when I glue it, I'm going to use Elmer's glue. I prefer Elmer's glue over glue sticks just because it lasts longer and it sticks better. So when I'm gluing on this, or actually, yeah, no, I'm going to use a glue stick for this, not liquid glue, because it will actually ruin the markers because it's washable. So I'm going to use a glue stick for this. Again, typically I use liquid glue, but I'm going to use a glue stick for this. So I'm just going to carefully glue all the fingers down first. And I'm going to put a good amount of glue on the palm of where my hand is. And then I didn't glue the edge because my hand's going to go off the page. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out where I want my hand to go. So I'm just going to push it down. And because my hand's going off the page, I'm actually going to flip it over. And you can keep it like that, or I'm just going to cut off the extra because I don't need it. And there's my picture. So again, I didn't finish it. I need to go back and finish coloring in the rest of the border. But there it is. I hope you guys enjoy it. Can't wait to see the finished product.